The month of September is going to be about a lot of experiments for the Washington Nationals. And should they experiment with the starting rotation? And starts with Mitchell Parker.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, we're the Locked On Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. And later on in today's program, we have got a Rays-Nats preview, as the Rays have, at one point this season, were in the wild card race. They've kind of really flinched down the stretch and have not looked too great as of late. We'll have that preview later on in today's show. And in the second segment, we take a look down at the Nationals farm system. Two guys that are very intriguing, a former first-round pick with Seaver King, and then also a second-round pick with Luke Dickerson. How have they been, and what can they improve on moving forward? We'll discuss that later on in today's show. But we start off discussing the Major League team, and it starts with the Nationals pitching staff, and really Mitchell Parker. I've got an idea that you will not want to miss, but today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So the Nationals' first start with Mitchell Parker last year was awesome, and even his rookie season was pretty good. But right now, Mitchell Parker has an ERA that is north of 6. That is an issue, and that is not going to last. So what is the fix? The fix for me at this point in time is to pair Mitchell Parker with an opener. But there's also another fix I'm going to get into later on in this show. But right now, it is very clear that Mitchell Parker is not going to be a part of the future of this starting rotation. I'm not saying he's not going to be in the rotation at the beginning of next year, because right now, do the Nationals have any better options? Probably not at this point in time. Mitchell Parker, unfortunately for the Nats, just has not panned out the way that they expected him to. And if you look down at the farm system, you've got guys like Jake Bennett, who have been really good. Another left-handed pitcher, a second-round pick back in 2021, who has really made a lot of impressive starts so far this season. The Nationals have got some space down in the minor leagues, but no one that is ready to take the jump imminently today. But as of right now, you can't just go out there and pitch Mitchell Parker every 5 days. Because let's be honest, the results have been really bad. Really bad at times here for the Washington Nationals. And looking at Mitchell Parker's season right now, it has kind of been a disaster. Over his last 15 starts, he has a 7.11 ERA, 94 hits, and 74 2/3. Even more recently, in his last 7 starts, he has an 8.82 ERA with 43 hits given up in 32 2/3 innings pitched. And in that time frame, in those 7 starts, a 1.71 whip. At some point, Miguel Cairo and Mike DeBartolo are going to have to say, we have to try something new. And the new thing that they should try with Parker is to pair him up with an opener. Now, who would that opener be? And again, in this scenario, maybe you have Mitchell Parker open up the game, go 1, 2, 3 innings pitched. But if it were me, I would have him come in later on in the game. Kind of be like your bullpen guy, because honestly, that's probably his role moving forward. Mitchell Parker certainly has a role on this team, in my opinion. I think he's got the stuff for it, and also he does have a little bit of a track record of success, and we have seen that at times. But right now, the starting thing is not working, so you have to try an opener. If I'm the Nationals at this point, with Mitchell Parker, I'm opening up with someone like a Jackson Rutledge type, or even a Orlando Rebalta. Someone who throws high 90s fastball. It's a little bit of a different look, a big presence on the hill, a right-handed pitcher, and then you can come in with Mitchell Parker kind of throw in 93, 94, and from the left-hand side, a good curveball. And that's kind of what would be my perfect match as far as an opener and a Mitchell Parker scenario here. The moral of the story is the Nationals have got to try something new. Whatever this has not been working, and it has not been working for a long time at this point. I don't believe that the Nationals are looking at this saying, we're going to fix Mitchell Parker at this point. They know that. They know Mitchell Parker is Mitchell Parker at this point. Like, again, if he worked out to be a major league starter, that would be a big success story for the Nationals. Unfortunately for us, it's just not at this point in time. And it's very clear that teams are jumping all over his fastball. They are hitting his breaking pitches, and his off-speed pitches are simply not good enough to be an every 5 days kind of starter for a major league team at this point. So you have to adjust. And with these rosters expanding, maybe you see someone like an Andrew Alvarez, who we talked about on yesterday's show, come into the rotation. Maybe they bring a sixth guy into the rotation. But it's very clear at this point, they have to change things. And if it were me, again, I'm going with an opener here. I think it's a smart, philosophical way to go about things if you're a baseball team in 2025. Number one, it's just something new to try. And number two, a lot of good teams, including the Tampa Bay Rays, the Philadelphia Phillies, we have seen do this. A lot of good teams do this out there. Let's give it a try. The Nats have not been willing to really do this opener thing. They've never really done it, and I think it is partly because they haven't really had any major injuries, and they have had a lot of guys that they believe is ready to take the step at the major league level. But at some point in time, they are going to have to try this out. And in my opinion, it starts with Mitchell Parker. But also the other flip side of this coin is maybe they go to a six-man rotation. Maybe they want to give Jackson Rutledge another shot at a starting pitcher job. Maybe they want to see Shin and Chino do what he does as a starting pitcher. Maybe they call up Andrew Alvarez. Maybe they call up another guy down from AAA. And maybe, just maybe, they bring up Harleen Susana. How about that? If the Nationals called up one of their top pitching prospects to make their major league debut, skipping AAA altogether, and just coming up into the major leagues, throwing 103 miles per hour. That's the dream scenario. But unfortunately, that will not happen. But with the six-man rotation, I think if I'm the Nationals and where we are today, you have to protect Mackenzie Gore. That is your number one priority. And then also, you have to protect Cade Cavalli. Both those guys who have had arm injuries in the past, Mackenzie Gore has been healthy for years, so that's not really at the forefront of my issues. But with Cade Cavalli, who has had Tommy John surgeries, who has had setbacks from Tommy John surgeries, who has had dead arm, all within the last 2.5 years, you have to protect him because he has looked like a big part of this future. And if you go into this next season with a healthy Cade Cavalli and a healthy Mackenzie Gore, and you have a clean slate to begin the season with those two guys, the forefront of your rotation, you feel pretty good about that. Or maybe you just feel good with them going in healthy in the offseason, and maybe you trade Mackenzie Gore. Health has got to be at the forefront of this for the Nationals at this point. And again, also on the flip side of it, you have to have better results. We know what Mitchell Parker is at this point. Let's see what he can do as an opener or with an opener, like a Cole Henry or a Jose Ferrer maybe. Who knows what the Nationals could do at this point? But I am begging them to try something new because it is not working with Mitchell Parker going out there every 5 days at this point. The numbers speak for themselves. He's walking a lot of guys. He's given up a ton of hits at this point, and he is not keeping the Nationals in games. Something has to change. And in my opinion, it starts with what is hopefully an opener role moving forward. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Now, let's talk about some prospects as the Nationals. They've got two guys who we haven't really discussed all too of late because, again, a lot of things have happened here, but you should not forget about Nationals 2024 first round pick Seaver King, and certainly do not forget about Nationals second round pick Luke Dickerson from that same draft class. We'll discuss both those guys and really what they have been up to and why you might be concerned about one of those guys moving forward after this. Hey, Nats fans, are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind and get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today, and use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas that you already needed. And at first I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit, and real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. And maybe gift season's coming soon. You can even gift that Amazon gift card to someone. It's all that easy with Upside. So don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And we're going to talk about some prospects coming up here shortly with Luke Dickerson and Seaver King. But we have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. And this is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping us out. So now we get into some Nats prospects, and Luke Dickerson is one I want to start off here right now, because I've always said Luke Dickerson is one of the highest upside Nationals prospects that we have right now. And I think with Eli Willits, with Travis Sikora, and Harling Susanna, those are the three guys that I put ahead of him. And then fourth is, at this point, Luke Dickerson. Luke Dickerson, though, as the season has gone on, has really struggled. And we talked about him early on this season and how he was crushing it in his first couple of weeks with Fredericksburg, but since then has really cooled off. The power ultimately has not been there consistently, but for Nationals fans, this is not a bad thing. He just turned 20 years old literally like 3 weeks ago. He is 20, he had his birthday on August 9th, and just for a reference, he was born in 2005. I'm not going to call quits on Luke Dickerson, and no one should, and I've seen no one out there saying that they are quitting on this kid. He is a very, very good prospect for this team still, and the talent is clear as day with where the Nationals sit today. As of right now, though, I have been slightly disappointed with some of the production that he has put up. Slightly. But I'm not going to ring any alarms for this, because at this point in time, there's so much time for him to develop. And also with a new front office here in town, and maybe a completely new one heading into this offseason as well, I have new hope for this. I have new hope for guys like Luke Dickerson, in which, again, kind of a timely fashion here, but if you put Luke Dickerson with the Tampa Bay Rays and all their analytics and the science that they put into developing prospects, Luke Dickerson would be a very, very good polished product already. The Nationals are behind in that department. They have never been a draft and develop organization. Under Mike Rizzo, they made savvy trades, and a lot of them worked out for them. They went in and signed some big-time free agents like Jason Worth, like Daniel Murphy. That's kind of what the Nationals Cologne was surrounding them. But they are completely changing face at this point. This is going to be a draft and develop organization, and for good reason. They have just kind of abandoned that over the years. So with Luke Dickerson, I think this year, just kind of take these results and throw them away. The time that I am really going to be judging what he can do is the start of next season. I really like Luke Dickerson at this point. And again, I'm not going to quit on where he is today. I have yet to see consistent power from him. I've yet to see consistent defensive play. But I think all those things are still there. Because the dream of Luke Dickerson was a solid defensive shortstop, number one, but then also someone who has immense power with also the stolen base threat. In today's game, the value of hitters and offensive players and young prospects comes with that power and speed tool. Luke Dickerson is a plus in the power and in the speed category at this point. He has 21 stolen bases this season, paired with 6 home runs and 14 doubles and a couple of triples in there as well. I still think that he can be even better than what those numbers indicate. Now, when he's up in the majors eventually in a few seasons from now, I'm not going to tell you that they're going to be stealing 40-plus bases a year. I don't think that's going to be the case for Dickerson. I think he could be that guy, but I think his power is really what will be the deciding factor on what he will be moving forward. So this segment is just this. Just because you see a lower OPS and a lower slug than what you would like to see, and also a low batting average, don't be discouraged about where Dickerson sits today. This is still a very good prospect, and I'm very interested to see what the Nationals can do with him this offseason. Because again, I think about the development of the Nationals and kind of going forward what they will be. This is kind of one of those guys where I think would be a great kind of test rat or whatever you want to call him, or a lab rat, whatever they say nowadays, for the Nationals. And we'll see what they can do. Because again, they have not been able to develop talent for a long, long time. And Luke Dickerson is immensely talented at this point. Let's see if they can kind of switch things around for the Nationals and their farm system. But also, the first round pick from last year, Seaver King. He is one guy who, again, I have been slightly disappointed in. And we saw him get moved up to AA Harrisburg just a few months back and hasn't really done too much either. Even after having a fine stint in high A Wilmington, he has an OPS sub 600 at this point. He is not hitting for power. He is not getting on base. And this was one of the picks last year. If you remember when we first made this, I was really concerned about this because, again, while he is a college bat and while he is a top 10 pick and while he was going to be probably selected in the first round regardless, this is one of those characters in which the Nationals have not been able to develop over the years. And it is different than Luke Dickerson because, again, the age is there. Luke Dickerson, again, just turned 20 years old. And Seaver King is 22 and just turned 22 this past April. He'll be 23 going into the next season. But I sit here today kind of wondering what the Nationals are doing with him. They promoted him to AA Harrisburg, of which at that point didn't really make all too much sense. And I was kind of curious as to why they would promote him so early on in this process, especially considering he has not been all too good at the single A level. So right then and there, it just kind of got me thinking of like, what is their plan with this? And maybe it's just the same case as Luke Dickerson. Maybe he just needs more time. Maybe needs some more hands-on coaching because the tools are there. Again, a college shortstop, number one. Number two, very speedy guy. High exit velos down at Wake Forest. But right now, we haven't really seen any of those capabilities at this point. I haven't really been able to see it for myself, and also the results have not been there. So at this point in time, I am slightly concerned about Seaver King. Just slightly. And I don't think many teams out there are going to be like, oh my gosh, we should be wildly concerned about Seaver King. It's too early on in the process, but My panic meter is at like a 3 out of 10 regarding his development. Maybe a new front office comes in and they see all the tools that Seaver King has and they're like, we'll make this guy into a star. Very possible. But I have yet to see star capabilities at this point, and I would have liked to see a much better season from Seaver King, and I would like to see him get on base more. I'd like to see him make improvements, but we have not seen that this season so far. So as far as Seaver King goes, again, still an intriguing prospect, still on our radar, but it has been a slight disappointment so far in 2025. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen. Next, let's talk about this. The Nationals take on the Rays tonight, Friday night baseball. Beautiful weekend ahead in the nation's capital. We'll discuss that game and much more after this. And yes, most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they are worth, and whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface and on your laptop or even on your phone. And Monarch is built for people with busy lives. And if you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. You can identify that you aren't saving as much money as you thought, and Monarch even helps you notice an inefficient investment allocation and discover forgotten 401ks from past job. And also, you can have maximizing your investments, increasing your savings rate, and easily reviewing your finances with your partner and or financial advisor, all on one app with Monarch Money. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Again, 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And we have a Mitchell Parker start tonight as they are taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. And as we mentioned in the first segment, I mean, this is kind of like what I feel like the millionth last opportunities that I've given Mitchell Parker, but this feels like the last opportunity for him in my mind. And I think the Nationals have realized that. Over his past start, Miguel Cairo kind of said, paraphrasing his quote here, but he kind of mentioned how they are looking to make some changes. And I think that this really should happen. If I'm Mitchell Parker tonight, I mean, the pressure is on him. It just is at this point. I am attacking the Tampa Bay Rays with my breaking pitches. I am trying something new. And if I am Mitchell Parker and if I am Riley Adams behind the dish, I am saying him, dude, you better not throw anywhere middle in the zone, because that is where Mitchell misses all the time. A lot of his breaking pitches tend to break right there in the middle of the zone. And for major league hitters, it doesn't matter who you are. They are going to make you pay for a mistake like that. There have been way too many instances this season where Mitchell Parker has had a breaking pitch dive right there, inside middle of the zone, and has just completely been terrorized by offensive players so far. This feels like his last chance. And this feels like a way of which he can finish strong here in the final month of the season. And quite frankly, he needs it. The Nationals need it. This is it. This really feels like it's it. With the rosters expanding in a few days, maybe they move off of Mitchell Parker and put him in the bullpen and bring in Andrew Alvarez. Maybe they bring in Harleen Susana. Again, a dream scenario that I give like a 3% chance to happening. But maybe they decide to do that and they feel as if Susana, the flamethrower right-handed pitcher, is ready. But tonight feels like a tryout for Mitchell Parker. And if he can do this moving forward, then they'll make it work. But it's going to be a tough one because, again, the Rays, very, very tough lineup to face for the Nationals moving forward. But also, we got to preview this series because it's not just Mitchell Parker. The Nationals are going up against a very, very good pitcher in Adrian Hauser, who's made 15 starts this season. He was, again, just one of their better pitchers all season long after being a starter for the first time, really back since 2023 with the Milwaukee Brewers. And he has had a very good season to date. The Nationals have not had all too much experience against Hauser, but this will be an intriguing matchup to say the least. Then also Saturday with the Tampa Bay Rays, they have got, in my opinion, their ace, Ryan Pepiot. He is really good. A former Dodgers third-round pick, one of their top guys in their system, was traded away to the Tampa Bay Rays, and they have just made him dominant for them this season long. Again, the numbers are not overwhelmingly good. Again, you might look at his 3.82 ERA, but this guy is by far and away their highest average guy. And then again, in that same conversation with Mitchell Parker is Jake Irvin. Jake Irvin goes tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Rays. He's kind of in the same boat, except he's put a way more pennies in the bank account at this point than what Mitchell Parker has. So he has a little bit of a longer leash in my mind, but we are certainly trending towards that area, especially if there is another blow-up start for Jake Irvin. And then on Sunday, August 31st, the last game of August, you have got Brad Lord going up against the Tampa Bay Rays, in which, by the way, they have an opener going, Ian Seymour. That's kind of what the Nationals could be doing for this team moving forward. And that would be a very interesting spot for the Nationals moving forward if they do decide to go to that opener situation. So again, the Nationals have Mitchell Parker, Jake Irvin, and then Brad Lord on Sunday. Not the best two games with starting pitchers because, again, Jake Irvin and Mitchell Parker both have been struggling immensely for this team. So we'll see what the Nationals can do against a pretty cold Tampa Bay Rays squad. But until then, enjoy Nationals baseball this weekend. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.